and that's amazing that all the people I've been there, all of us been there for vacation, and to see that place like that, in Puerto Rico like that, and see many of them places the storms are coming in like that and stuff. I just think that's the beginning. Something's coming, you know.
I think I'm gonna put these two bottles up there.
Okay. Oh yeah. Go ahead. All right, Marcus, when you ready to roll, we get ready to roll and get this great interview on.
Okay.
And
it'll be 60
make sure.
seconds.
I'm gonna make sure I said your last name correctly.
Just on.
On here, so
On.
yeah. I at first I looked and said sometimes things are pronounced a little bit different, but all I remember is Nancy on. Yeah. Make sure and stuff like that. But we are ready. How you doing, young man?
Good.
They can hear you right now.
All right.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Okay, we're gonna be out
All
there.
right. So I'm about to roll.
Okay.
Okay. Five, 4, 3, 2, and you're on.
Oh, we're ready. We're getting ready to roll with this beautiful interview today. We got a special guest in today, one of the great, hard-working women, young. I've been watching her work since she was almost a teenager. She's never stopped working hard. Most people can't work hard as this young lady, but she's going to inspire many of you to understand what it takes to work hard and continue. Even when you change careers, she went from USANA, one of the great companies, and opened up her own business, and now returned to USANA. And it's going to be a great interview to learn about how hard you work with this young lady. Her name is Nancy Ong, and we're getting ready to meet this young lady. And she also brought a special guest, and she'll tell you who he is when we get ready to go. She'll flow in and let you know he's a part of USANA as well. So today, we have Miss Nancy here, and I want her to say a few words to us. And we're so happy to have you at California Urban Podcast, sponsored by
Curve 31.
Curve 31 at the Arthur Rory M. Smith Show. We're here today. So how you doing, Nancy, and how's things going?
Wait, can we clap it up for Nancy? Don't just get into it like that. Wait a minute.
I feel so honored. I mean, I've seen some of your guests that you've had on this show, and I know you personally, and you're such an amazing inspiration yourself, such a creative being, and you know, for you to ask me to be here, like, I feel truly honored. So thank you.
Oh, it's the same. You know, I don't get. Young people need to see young people that work hard. Young people need to know that you just didn't start working hard at 25, 30. You started when you were a teen. You had goals. You wanted to you looked forward to being something. You went to college, and once you got out of high school, you saw yourself. You saw dreams, and you wanted to move forward in your life. And I saw it personally with my own eyes. And because I admire a lot of people. I really do admire a lot of young people. I don't follow. And so for me to follow and learn, I learned from you. And it taught me, even during my tough times, that I have to keep fighting, because if I see this young lady fighting to get her life together, I can keep fighting to keep my life together. And because we all go through ups and downs, we all make bad investments, we all make good investments, but we keep on going and stuff. And I really know you'll never stop. And you just keep going until you are old and gray. You know, you'll always have something to do in your life, and that's what keeps us young. We get up in the morning, we take care of our health, and the products that you sell is the healthiest products in the world, and there is no other product that can compare to USANA. So it's just amazing because I use other products, but I know USANA is the reason I lost 139 pounds, because when I was really big, and you turned me on to them, and I just realized what they did for me back in the day. They speeded up my blood to get healthy, and once my blood got healthy, I started getting healthy and started eating better. I got away from red meat. I started doing things, and it really got my system working a lot better and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that, but I want to also talk about, where did you grow up?
I born and raised
So tell me a little bit about you as a young lady, and go as far as back as you want to go. Tell me a little bit about you in school and some things that you inspired, some of the things you was involved in.
My parents, they came over here in their early 20s. My mom had me.
Okay.
So they immigrated from, like, they're Chinese, but they're from Vietnam. They were born in Vietnam, and then they came over here with little to nothing, and raised and gave birth to me as the oldest daughter.
Okay.
And 2 other daughters followed, so we're a family of 3 girls.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's always been fun like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I've just seen my parents work really hard and, you know, never took for granted, you know, what we had, just because I've seen all the hard work that goes into that. So, and my parents were always very hard on me. You know, they never gave me the easy way out. They never gave me anything for free. I always had to earn it, you know, in some way.
Yeah.
My dad was definitely the disciplinarian in the family.
Okay.
In many different ways, and just I think coming from an Asian American like background, my parents showed love in ways that were, you know, not the mainstream way that we have it in America that we see on TV. You know? It was being hard on me was loving me.
The old school.
Yeah, the old
school way, the
yeah.
real culture. Yeah, that they learned.
Yeah, and at that age, it didn't resonate with me like what that was until I got older. Then I realized like they were instilling like values in me and teaching me things that is a part of me still today and a part of who I am. You know, so I'm gonna give a lot of credit to just the way my parents like raised me, even though it was we didn't understand each other all the time. You know, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of clashing, different cultures because I'm born here, so I'm seeing my peers from school, and they have these lovey-dovey families, and I'm like, I go home and it's not the same at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, how come I don't have that? How come I don't have that? But because of that, it taught me so much, and it made me such a strong person and so independent, and taught me never to rely on anybody and just to work really hard and always striving for that. Always striving.
And you had 2 younger sisters. And they had to look up to you to see you striving, and you had to stay straight, because if you lost your way, it's always the older sister, and that's when probably the pops was hard on you more to make sure that you stay straight and be strong. And
I will be honest. Sorry to interrupt. I will be honest. I didn't stay straight the whole time. I definitely didn't. I had my rebellious stage. Very aggressively. Like I was very rebellious in my teenage years in high school. Just because I was rebelling against my parents. Like, you know, why are you so hard on me? And why are you so strict? And how come you can't be like other parents? And I kind of did stray off the path. And maybe kind of became like a black sheep of the family almost. And was misunderstood by even my younger sisters, because they didn't know. You know, all they knew was I was kind of steering off the path that my parents wanted me to be on. But ultimately, as they grew, I think they started to see like I was just innately just very different than the person that just wants to go within the box. I was very outside of the box. And that's just who I am.
But let me ask you this then. But even though I have a son, y'all about the same age, and same with him. When he went to high school, I was tough. But that's when he started speaking up, and you know, Dad, because you know, I think we all. Marcus is a father, and his son is going into his teenage years, and he's starting to see differences and things. And I think he was a teenager, and I saw him rebelling. We all rebel, you know, and trying to find our way, and that's where we find our way and stuff. But what was great about, I see you when you got out on your own, how you realized all that great hard love. I understand now because I'm out in this world now, and you just blossomed into this rose, and how hard you worked. So when you went to deal, what was high school like?
High school.
Yeah, how was high school like? What was it for you?
High school. I wasn't a very good student, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you otherwise, but
Yeah.
I truly felt like I found like who I was and what I wanted to do
Okay.
after high school, after you know,
Okay.
during college was
Okay.
when I found my passion. You
Okay,
know, and
okay.
my journey took a little bit longer. So in high school, yeah, not too much about that. You know, didn't even get to go to prom or anything.
Wow.
Just I felt like I went to Silver Creek. It was still a lot of great memories. I have you know, keep in touch with some of my friends there still that I grew up with.
Okay.
But high school was a fun but a blur.
It was a blur.
Kind of a blur.
Okay. So when you so now you graduated and you decided to go to De Anza College. That's when you knew the work had to change. Did you see people really thriving there to be something? Well, what triggered you
Yeah.
to know I got to do something different?
Yeah.
So when did you get triggered?
Very good question. I was going to De Anza. I was holding several jobs at the same time because, again, I was always very independent. I wanted to make money and go to
Okay.
school and all that stuff. And I wouldn't say it was college that triggered me. It
Mhm.
wasn't, but it was in that time frame that I was in college.
Okay.
Actually, it was when USANA was introduced in my life, actually. It
Wow.
was in my third year of college.
Okay.
And let me backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
I remember working at Barnes and Nobles, you know, when I was pretty young, you know, working at Barnes and Nobles, and I was about to start college, and I remember I was looking through a book of majors, like different majors to major in college. Like I was
Mhm.
seeking a direction. I remember looking through all of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like any of these appeal to me. Like, what
Mhm.
am I missing here? So I just went to college just to go, you know, just to kind of go through the motions because that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah, but I truly did not feel that I found my calling
Okay.
until a good friend that I knew from middle school, from junior high,
Wow.
actually called me up when I was in college.
Okay.
And I trust her, so she called me and she was like, hey Nancy, so I just got introduced to some health thing, and you know, I want you to check it out. I mean, your health is not great, so maybe you should check it out.
Wait a minute, when she told you
called me out,
she
yeah,
said
she
your
said,
health is not great.
your health is not too great, so maybe
Wow.
you might like
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a business, but you know, just come check it out. You know,
Okay.
I'll pick you up. And she
Okay.
did the whole spiel on me, and I was like, what is this?
Okay.
But being that she was a good friend of mine from middle school, I trusted her. So
Okay.
I was like, sure, why not? You're gonna pick me up, we'll go. I expected not too much, you know, just maybe some webinar, seminar, I don't know. She drove me to an apartment complex,
Wow.
and a bunch of people lined up out the door of this house, like of the apartment. I
Wow.
was like, what is this?
Right.
We entered, there were seats laid out, chairs laid out with a little projector screen.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, home meeting. Okay, cool. A lot of peers and people that I kind of knew, like my friends' friends, people we've hung
Right.
out with were there, so I felt comfortable.
Okay.
Because I had some acquaintances there.
Okay.
We got seated. Eventually, there was music and everything, and the music died down, and then the speaker went up on stage and
Okay.
started talking about this health company
Okay.
that my friend had invited me to. And I will say, the person that was on stage, he was probably 28, you know, tall, charismatic, really great speaker, presented to the company in a great way.
Okay.
To be honest, I wasn't truly interested in health at that time. I was so young, and it was just,
Right.
I didn't know too much about health or nutrition or anything.
Right.
So all of that stuff just kind of flew by my head. I didn't really
Okay.
listen too much.
Right.
I was being respectful. I was, you know, but I was kind of dozing off a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was something that actually caught my attention, and it was this moment I'll never forget. And after he was done talking about the company, the product, and all that stuff, he wrapped it up with some life lessons, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And he said that, you know, your attitude towards life is life's attitude towards you. Yeah.
Wow.
And he said, in this company, we will not look at your resume. We will not look at your past. We will not judge you based on your past. We will not say that you're not able to join because you don't have the experience. Whatever you want to make of this, you can. And there's no limit to what you can do with this opportunity.
Now, can you look in the camera and say that again?
Yeah, that was pretty. That was
Can
pretty
you look
deep.
in the
Yeah,
camera and
that
say
was
that
pretty
again?
deep.
Sure.
And I want you people to really listen to what she said.
So the inspiration or the moment that got me during that presentation, despite all the health things that I wasn't exactly interested in or understanding at the time, I was so young, but the moment that really got me on that day, I'll never forget, and it was so long ago, but I'll always remember this. He said, your attitude towards life is life's attitude towards you. And how you treat the world is how the world is going to treat you back. And I'll never forget that, because my whole life before then, I've never had a mentor. I've never had someone teach me about how to view the world, how to have a better attitude about life. I always thought that I was unlucky, and you know, maybe this is just the cards that I was dealt and I'll have to deal with it. I never felt that I had any control over how my life would turn out or how successful I would ever become. So that sentence or that quote alone gave me so much hope.
Right.
And that was my turning point from that moment on.
Wow. And so, what people have to understand that when all our lives, people tell us things. Either we listen or we don't.
Yeah.
If you can just focus and listen, many times you think in your life nobody never wanted to help you or show you anything because you blocked them. So you need to learn to unblock your ears, because a lot of people say, I ain't never had a mentor, or I have never had nobody that care about me.
Yeah.
And it's never not true. Someone cares about you. And over your years, from even when you're a kid, someone told you you need to stay in school. Someone told you that, hey, you're smart, you're intelligent, but we have so much pain and we're going through so much, we block it. So it's amazing, because when you came into my world, that wasn't the person I met. I met this person that inspired me and said things to me, and I heard what you said to people. And I just sat there and I was like, man, it made me think. So how that person, that one line gave you hope in life.
It did.
And it made a change in you. So let's continue this story and keep going. so let's continue this story about, we're right there. So what happened after that?
You're digging up some like deep emotions in there that I haven't talked about for so long.
Let it go.
But I'm so glad that you
You're
are,
killing me.
because it's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
I'm hearing it.
Man.
Great.
So, okay.
And mind you, that the person that was speaking was a stranger to me. Like, I didn't even know him. It was
Right.
just a speaker.
Right.
You know, that's all I
No
knew.
bias.
No bias.
Clear.
Yeah.
Like
so,
a therapist, no bias, no judgment, and then
Yeah.
the best mentor, then the best words you
Yeah.
can hear in life.
And when I heard that, that was my deciding factor.
Mhm.
That was a moment I said to myself, I don't know what this company is. I think their products are good, because he said that they were good and had a lot of third-party sources. Awesome.
Right.
But you know what? I'm going to do it
Mhm.
based on just what he said right there.
Right.
Because I told myself, if this is what training is going to be like if someone within this group can teach me the same things that he just set up on stage,
Mhm.
if I can grow as a person, I told myself that if I can just get that from this business opportunity,
Mhm.
no matter what I invest in it, whether it's purchasing the products to get started or whatever,
Mhm.
I would have gained something that would be priceless. There was no dollar amount that could amount to the type of stuff that I was hearing that I needed in my life, to grow as a human being. Like, I felt that was worth millions of dollars.
Yes. Yes. And wow. So when was your first meeting to join? What was that like when you first decided to join Sun?
That was that meeting. That was the meeting.
And you,
Yeah.
and so what was your meeting? What was the first time now you got your products and you started to network? How was that? How did you, what did you learn to start your first networking? Because that's when it gets hard, because you have to go out and you have to have an ability, a natural ability that you, how did that come out of you?
What's so crazy is that I've never been a business person. Never. I've always been shy. I've always been quiet prior to USANA.
Okay.
I've always been the one that teachers would say, speak up, I can't hear you.
Wow.
I would be that one.
Wow.
Or my mom would tell me to order something from McDonald's or something at that time, and I wouldn't order because I would be too scared to talk, you know?
Wow.
I was that. So, networking was not natural for me. Absolutely not. But because I was so, because people knew me as someone who was very quiet, who was very shy and very just an overanalyzer, almost just kept to myself so much. When USANA came into my life and I started to change as a person, that was probably what got people to be intrigued about seeing what I was doing.
Wow.
Because of my massive, well, actually gradual change with my personality.
So they was like, is this Nancy?
Pretty much.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Who is this? Is this, what are you talking about? Wow.
Yeah.
So when you, but something that was already inside you was being released for the first time.
I would say so.
I have a question. Somebody has a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nancy, someone asked, what is this or these products? So if you can just look to the camera real
Okay,
quick and
yeah.
explain exactly.
Well, hold
what
on
it
for a
is.
second. Hold on for a second. We are dedicated. Stay with the interview, because the second half of this interview is going to be based just on the products. Okay, it's just going to be based on the products in our company and how to reach them, how to get involved with Nancy, and how to even be a part of doing it as well. Being a part of her team, learning how to do these products. She has the #1 health products in the world, and you'll learn about this in the second half. We just want you to get to know a little bit about Nancy and how she became this, from a young teenager to one of the great entrepreneurs out here, young women out here, still very young, and how she was able to open up her own business. And these are the things that you're about to see. And I just want, the reason I'm interrupting, I want you to kind of get an understanding, and then all of a sudden we're going to go. We also have another young man in her company that's also going to share some things, and him and Nancy will definitely share everything about the company and stuff. So let's get back a little bit to the story. We almost finished, and then we're going to get right into the company. And I'll just give us a little bit. I appreciate that. And you can definitely call in at what number, Marcus?
510-922-1253, and it's scrolling right at the bottom of the
And you'll
screen.
be able to ask Nancy any questions you like. So let's get back to when you first started. When did you know you knew you were going to be good at this? How did you figure out that this? Because you became like a pro, like it was just boom. I think you fell in love with it, and you knew this was something you needed in your life.
Yeah.
So when did that come about?
Oh my gosh, there's so much about, the whole. I was just so in love with the concept of personal development, the fact that I'm representing a product that's helping people, and it was helping my health dramatically. Without getting into too much detail, I used to be a very sickly child. So I was always getting strep throat, always catching every cold, catching all the flus, and constantly, my parents didn't know they would put me on a ton of antibiotics. And I would use them all up, I would be okay for a week, and it would come right back with a vengeance.
Wow.
And I would get back on antibiotics.
Wow.
To the point where it didn't even work on me anymore. So I was so sick, and my immune system was so beat up, and I thought that was just genetics. I really had no idea that all these things that I was eating, and my diet, antibiotics on top of that, was just destroying my immune system.
Okay.
I didn't know that until I got into USANA, got the nutritional training, from all the scientists that are in the company, on top of just the tools that they have. I just kept learning every single day. Just about how important it is to nourish your cells, to replenish your cells, to support it so that it can fight off, toxins and free radicals and things like that, repair your gut, because antibiotics completely destroyed mine. And once I got on the products, I just never had to ever take another antibiotic again for a decade, a whole decade straight. And that's kind of fast forwarding, but I have just felt so much better.
Yeah, you're telling the truth, because I had to get stomach surgery. And I remember I wasn't taking the products that I bought from you. One day I just opened the cabinet and I saw all that stuff I bought. And it was something for your stomach, you know, just your clean, detoxing you. I started, you know, taking them and hitting the treadmill, and I haven't been sick since.
Awesome.
You know, like sick, flus, and stuff. I don't take flu shots, none of that stuff. And so it's kind of like these products, you know, it's like the best that I've ever seen. And it's kind of like it, and it has nothing to do with culture. It has something to do with our blood. We're human beings. We have these things. We're all fighting in America. And these products are just for every culture and stuff.
Yeah.
So now that you're rolling, how did you were able to build these teams and to become this superwoman in the product? I saw it.
Yeah.
So how were you able to push people to come into your sauna and to work hard like that for you? Because we're going to move forward, because we're about to get into the company. But I just wanted you to share, how did you able to, once you got rolling and you started doing all these seminars and workshops, and I saw you on stage speaking to thousands of people, you know, how were you able to see, how did that come out of you once you start rolling? Yeah.
I will say that, again, remember I was shy, quiet, very soft-spoken.
Right.
Public speaking did not come naturally to me at all.
Right.
So I had to push myself.
Okay.
And I would literally get so nervous before any talk or speech on stage. Even if it was just 10 people in the audience, I would get so nervous.
Okay.
I'd get nauseous, like, you know?
Yeah.
But I would always tell myself, like, if I can overcome this challenge, I'm going to grow as a person.
Wow.
So I'm going to overcome this challenge. And if I suck really, really bad, it's okay. The next one won't suck as bad. So I constantly would just, that self-talk.
Wow.
Yeah, so just.
And I saw it,
push
it was,
myself.
and I'm telling you, I saw it from the beginning. I couldn't realize how fast she grew from this shy person that I met to this person that's just like Superwoman. Had the cape on, the S, and just was strong, was just there. I was just like, man, how did this happen? And then I was just looking at, and the people you brought in, they were somewhat like you, shy when they first started, and you got it out of them. And they were able to grow, and they're probably still growing in the company and stuff. And so we're gonna jump, and then we're gonna get into your sauna. You went a long time straight with your sauna, and you decided to take a break, and you open up this. Tell people about this healthy business that you open up in the South Bay, in Saratoga.
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to share with you. I opened a flotation therapy spa. It's also known as a sensory deprivation tank.
Wow.
And I know that sounds a little intimidating, but really what it is are these these pods that they're big tubs that have a lid that can close on you. I know that sounds scary, but don't be intimidated. There's lights inside, soft lights. There's music, and in these tanks is about 200 gallons of water and about 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts.
Wow.
So if you can just see the ratio, it's like a lot of salt dissolved in this water. So naturally you'll be buoyant.
Okay.
So people are floating on top of this like warm water that's buoyant. So your whole body is anti-gravity.
Wow.
So there's no pressure on your body. There's no.
And so it soaks into your skin and
magnesium is soaking into your skin and into your cells.
So what made you get into that? What made you think of that particular business? Because that's one of the hard, and the machines itself is cost more than a house.
Not quite.
Almost.
Not cheap.
But what made you get into that?
Actually, it wasn't even my idea. I mean, sensory deprivation tanks have been around since 1970s. They just kind of went out of style and then came back and reinvented itself, because before it looked very intimidating. It looked like a coffin, basically.
Man, well, you know what it reminded me of? The movie Daredevil, when he looked like he had one, and he would go into the tank. And that's the first time I seen one like that. And that's what they kind of remind me of, the tank. He was good to heal his body from all the fighting and all the things he was going to and stuff. So, but anyway, so you sold the business because of one thing. she met Superman.
Oh.
he flew down, and because you can't just get Nancy attention, it ain't gonna happen, you know. So she met a beautiful man. I'm just gonna stop playing. She met a beautiful man. And what is your husband's name? And he swept you off your feet.
Oh,
And he
he's
was there.
sweet. So actually, I met David, who's my husband now. I met him before I started. Actually, during the tail end where I was taking a break from USANA and then starting my own like traditional business. He met me at that time. So he doesn't know the USANA Nancy. He actually didn't know.
Oh, wow.
So he knew me for who I was, and just out of that, and doing my own business at his time.
Right.
And he supported me through that whole venture. It was a very challenging venture to start your own brick and mortar business. It's a huge investment, a lot of time invested into it.
Yeah.
It's a holistic health spa, and I'm helping people, and that's very rewarding. However, I saw myself struggling now, again, with my own health, you know, being there 6 days a week, working 8 to 10 hours a day, if not more sometimes, you know. So he saw me through that whole journey, and he supported me through the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he got on that knee.
He got on that knee during the midst of it all. I thought he would at least like.
He got on your knee.
He did.
Oh man.
Epic fashion.
You had a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
I saw the pictures and I was like, man, I wish I was there. You know, so that's my girl, man. I was so happy for you. I really was. I really was. And y'all such a team because y'all do everything together. And he's a very intelligent young man. And I'm so proud of what you guys accomplished, and y'all gonna have a great family. One thing you talked about that I'm very interested in. You decided if you have a family, that's why you sold the business, so you want to have a family, and you want to work from home, and you want to homeschool. So what make you look at, because I have a cousin that homeschools, and his kids are just beyond intelligence compared to what kids are in school, because you can kind of target what the world is much better than the schools, and you can really give it to your kids. So is that a goal of yours to homeschool your children and your family when you decide to?
100%. 100%. This was decided before he even proposed.
Wow.
So it was a non-negotiable for me.
Non-negotiable. Wow, that's beautiful.
One of them. So,
So
I'm not an easy woman to please or be with, I think. But just because I have such high standards, like for myself, and then also I would, you know.
I just think in today's world, you're normal. That's what it should be. The high standards for all of us. We look at people that's on a higher level and we say they're special, but I think that's normal. I think what's not special is the things we're not doing. That's not normal. Like really being two good parents, even if you're not together, to raise your children, being there, going up to the school, visiting school, make sure your kids are getting the education, fighting for the rights of your children. That's not normal when we're not doing these things. But what you're doing is, to me, is normal. You know, and that's how I look at life. We're supposed to fight for our children. We're supposed to do the best for ourselves and our husbands. We're supposed to be loyal. That's normal. That's unnormal stuff is we make it like, you know, but I think what you're doing is just so beautiful. Now, we coming to the coup de grace. We're about to talk about your son and stuff. And I want him to introduce himself, Marcus, and one of her business partners, Luis.
Okay.
And introduce yourself and your title with the company.
Okay, 1 second.
All right. So that's a beautiful thing. And but while he's doing that, Nancy can introduce USANA and tell her what the products of what we're doing, what she's doing at this particular moment.
Oh, awesome. So USANA is a cellular nutrition company because at the core of everything, our health, it all goes down to the smallest cell. And we have trillions of cells in our body. So USANA's specialty is nourishing the cell, nourishing, regenerating, and giving the cells a boost to fight off the free radicals and the toxins that are in our air, our water, our food, just through our lifestyle. You know, we're constantly getting an overload of, a lot of us are getting an overload of free radicals that turn into toxins in our body. And what USANA does is they're nutritionals, and this is our flagship product. This is called, this two together is called the Cell Essentials.
Okay.
One of them by itself, this is called the core minerals, and these are Vita antioxidants. They work hand in hand together for maximum bioavailability, meaning your body will absorb it best when they're come together as a pair.
Wow.
So you need minerals, you also need vitamins, a spectrum of vitamins, not just one,
Yeah.
for your body to operate in a very intricate level, because our body is very intricate. Our cells are very unique and they're very complex. So you can't give it just one simple vitamin. It needs a whole, complete, the perfect balance, the perfect ratio.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
for it to work.
Minerals. I don't think I've ever taken a mineral.
No, we headed into especially me. I take supplements and stuff. So, but I definitely need something else. So that'd be beautiful for me to get back, because USANA was a part of me getting healthy.
Awesome.
And a part of my 139-pound loss.
I do remember you were telling me about it
Yeah.
back when you were on
Yeah.
your journey.
Yeah.
So this is it. I finally get to meet the person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was it. Their products is what helped my blood get so healthy to
Yeah.
where got my cholesterol. I got good cholesterol.
Yeah.
My blood pressure is 110/77. This was that company, because I had bought like 3 boxes of it one day, and I just wasn't using it. You know how you buy stuff because you're
Yeah.
friend. But just one day I was sick down there on a walker, and I looked up and I saw them. I said, I'm supposed to be taking this stuff. Let me remember what Nancy told me. I got in and I started taking them. Then I started walking that treadmill.
Yeah.
My system cleaned up. And I did the detox. And then all of a sudden, I just started getting energy. And I'm back to where, and then I didn't realize I had lost 60 pounds
Yeah.
doing it. And I didn't realize, I'm getting up now. But when I got on that scale, I was over 400 pounds. I looked up, I was like 360. And I was like, man. Then next thing you know, I'm down to 330, 320, under 2,
Right.
just going farther down and down. And I got 40 more pounds to go. And now that she's
So
back.
you trying to get them? You trying to get them from you?
Yeah, now I'm back.
He gonna try to buy 5 pills from you, 5 each.
Yeah. But I want to introduce her. A business partner, and you online now. I want you to Luis, say your whole name and what you do for USANA, and how you how they can reach you, man.
Well, my name is Luis Arevalo. I've been with USANA for about 7 years now. I worked with Nancy when I first started USANA. But my journey was a long journey. I was born in Guatemala, so I'm from a different country. I migrated here when I was 6 years old, and it was a real new experience for me. Back in Guatemala, we lived a poor life. And coming to San Francisco, 6 years old, I see buildings, see cars, street lights, and it's something new. And one of my first memories was one of my younger brothers. He was eating a bag of Cheetos, and they don't have that in Guatemala. So it kind of got my interest in like, what is that?
Right.
And I still remember this day. Coming into California, I lived in Richmond, California, and that's where I was raised since I was 6 years old. My childhood, it was good. Richmond is known for a city of violence or gangs and stuff like that. But for the most part, it wasn't like that during my childhood. In my childhood, I was good. I was a good kid, getting good grades, listening to my parents. But then came high school.
That's the story of us all.
Then came high school.
High school. Yeah.
And I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Started making bad decisions. Kind of drifted my life from school. Since I was small, I knew school wasn't for me. And I also understood that, everybody wants to become successful. That's why they go to school. But for myself, I knew that there was also different routes. in becoming successful. It wasn't just school. So like I said, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Started getting involved into like violence and gangs, and it was fun. It was fun for the most part. And then something really tragic happened. It's gonna get intense, just to let you know.
Yeah, you don't have to go too deep, but
well,
yeah.
me and my brother, we were a victim of a drive-by, and we got shot. And after that, like I saw the bigger picture. I understood that I'm in this environment, but I'm not just putting my life in the risk. I'm putting the life of my friends, my family, and then I understood. And then I got it in my head like I don't want to be in this anymore. I want something better. And after high school, I really didn't know what I was doing in my life. I was working at Wendy's, and I had quit Wendy's 2 months before I joined USANA. And I still remember that day when I first was introduced to USANA. It was my brother. I was in the couch watching TV. He had came from a meeting, and super excited, talking about successful people, talking about hey, we can retire, we can become healthier. I'm 19 years old at this time, and I'm like, I don't care about health.
Health at all?
What? Like, you talking money? Then I'm kind of interested. But he set up an appointment for me. I went to the presentation just as Nancy did. Was kind of weirded out because I lined up to an apartment.
Yeah.
But I paid attention, and I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand anything of the health side. All I knew was I was excited. This was something new, and I wanted to try it. And I had nothing to lose. So I did. And I still remember when I got my first products. Super excited. Tried them all out at the same time. And after that, I saw like what the products really did for me, and not just myself, but for my family, especially for my dad.
Wow.
And I knew I was in for life because the products were good, and not just the products though. I remember meeting Miss Aunt Nancy doing a Saturday training. It was a big training. Everybody was talking about her,
I know.
Youngest diamond director.
Yeah, man, she
and,
was man.
And I saw her speak, and I saw her train, and I knew this is the person I want to follow.
Yeah.
This is the person that is gonna lead me to success.
Yeah.
And I don't regret my decision whatsoever. She became a good friend of mine, close friend, my mentor actually. And that's my story. I love USANA. I love what I do, and I love helping people.
Well, let me say something to you. I'm going to say this to you. But from what I know of Nancy, you are your success. And your schooling, it doesn't have to be college. It doesn't have to be high school. Your schooling is your lifeline. That's where you went to school. And USANA gave you an education. And it's continuing to give you education, continue to grow. You are the direction. She's just the push. Just like she's the push to me, I'm the push to her. But it's you taking the step to build your brand. Because you have to build your USANA. She doesn't build it. And what's beautiful, that you get this positive inspiration, and when you see her, it keeps you straight, and it keeps you positive, and it keeps you, I can do it, and you get stronger. Because the better you get, the better she feels, and the better she gets. And that's how partnerships work and stuff, and just being trustworthy and loyal towards one another, and that's what it takes. That's what I learned from her. That's the strength part. I'm an old man. I learned from her. And I learned that watching Nancy over the years and stuff. So I want to get back to you, and I want to thank you for sharing your story, but I also want to talk to both of you. What is your direction of what you're doing now, how you are directing now.
Yeah.
And before we get in that, we definitely want to, if people are not doing things in their life, to contact you. Maybe they can learn how to be USANA and represent and do some things. But before we go there, what is the direction of what you're trying to do now with USANA?
Oh my gosh. So after I sold my spa, right after I sold my spa, I planned my wedding and then I got married. And of course at that point, now I'm thinking, all right, what next? Right? What next? I'm always going to be an entrepreneur, like at heart, right? But at the same time, I knew at this point in my life now that I'm married and planning to have a family soon, all my decisions will now not just impact myself, but my husband, our future kids, our family, our extended family. So my next decision was, whatever I choose, I'm not going to jump around, anymore. I'm going to think really clearly about what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. And at that point, USANA was such a major chapter in my life prior to me opening my business, but I had a good 4-year hiatus, a break, and starting my own thing. I was still using the USANA products, but I didn't think about it as a business at that point, at that moment. But what happened was that my husband actually brought up to me, he was like, he just said this, he was just like, would you ever consider going back to USANA again? And doing that again, and being active in that again. And I was like, wow, because he actually met me when I was transitioning to do my own thing. So he doesn't know about my whole crazy journey with USANA and how it was my whole life for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
But when he said that, I'm like, wow, that's something to definitely think about. So, but when he said that, it got me so emotional. And I'm not a super emotional person. It got me so emotional that I almost knew in the back of my head there's a little voice that said, he's right, I should. The reason is because people would still ask me at my spa, what vitamins do you recommend, or what supplements do you recommend? I would say, oh, go to usana.com, and with no benefit, I wasn't getting anything from that. I was just referring people to the actual company at that point. And I kept doing it. I was still using the products. My husband now started using the products as well, and he saw the difference. And he was like, one, you're passionate about health. 2, you want to work from home. You want to homeschool our kids. It all points back to USANA. This is probably where your heart is. And, you try to explore other things, do other things, but ultimately maybe this is your home. Maybe this is where you actually belong. And quite frankly, you're pretty good at it, So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, maybe he has a point. So I thought about it, and I made up my mind. After some pondering, I made up my mind. I was like, yeah, USANA is much more than just products. For me, it's a vehicle for me to find a bigger purpose in my life. At my spa, I was helping people, but only a certain amount every day. My reach was so limited to just the immediate community.
You reached out.
I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to help people around the world, around the country. I wanted to be able to travel again and to build it the way I want to build it, to have the flexibility and the freedom to stay at home and raise my kids in the future and homeschool my kids. So everything was pointing back to this direction. And once I decided, it's almost like this. I love to give this analogy. It's like having a high school sweetheart for many, many years, never exploring. That was your first boyfriend, okay? And then going through a moment in your life where you're like, I wonder what's out there, and exploring other relationships. And I did that, for a couple years. And then realizing that my heart really belongs to my high school sweetheart, or my first love. And going back there and marrying your first love. And that's how I kind of see my relationship with what happened in USANA. It was my first love. I had so many memories with it. It built, who I was. And then I wanted to find an identity outside of USANA, just explore that on my own. Realize that, I can come back in USANA as a new me and build it as a new person. And do it in a different way where it would be completely one lasting, sustainable, do it for the right reasons.
Right.
I would say before when I first did it, it was the financial aspect was very appealing to me.
Right.
The health was almost like secondary when I was first starting because I was very young. I didn't understand health. As I got older, I became more and more aware of what's really going around out there.
Right.
How many people are suffering with health issues starting at a very young age.
Young age.
Kids are getting sicker and sicker at younger ages.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
5, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is crazy.
And I
Because
became
we
so
started
passionate.
eating our kids
Yeah.
McDonald's and
Yeah.
giving them food that no vegetables and meat and just not really focusing on how our kids should be eating vegetables and actually even getting balanced protein in their supplements as kids, you know.
Yeah.
And I will say this, after I say this, I want you to tell the world how to reach you.
Okay.
What I'm going to say to you is this: USANA products, if you having arthritis issues, digestion issues where you got back pain, all the things that we take medication from the doctors, they give us drugs, they give us all these different things, and we do not realize we don't have to take as many drugs. We get sicker because there's side effects to what we take, and we constantly go to the doctor for pain pills, for nerve pills, we have mental strength. That's because our system is off balance. Many of our times our kids, they call them crazy, and it's not crazy. It's just got an imbalance in their system and their chemical. These are products that will help you from the age little to the age to 100 years old. It will help you balance your system, your blood. You'll be able to get up. You have many joint pains, all kinds of stuff. So I want you to really look at her website. You can look at Nancy on Facebook, and she'll spell her name out completely. Look her up on Facebook, and her website is on the advertisement. Hit the website, but get a hold of Nancy, and she can just, even if you want to even be a part of a person selling it, you're looking for a job to be trained, this might be something you're looking for. But at the same time, for your health and people that like to drink alcohol, that like to party all the time, well, these products that help you clean a lot of that up and be healthy, because a lot of us overdrink, a lot of us do too much what we shouldn't be doing, eat too much pork, eat too much things. And these things that help you with your system, keep your stomach healthy, because the more you get towards 50 and 60 years old, you're facing cancer, diabetes, you're facing the liver problems, kidney problems, organ problems, but this keeps your blood, keep your arteries clean, and then just get your brain strong, because we don't realize. So how can they reach you, and the number and the website? And we can share that with them. And she'll spell her name out, and you can look her up if you want to now.
Yeah, you can reach me on Facebook, add me as a friend. My name is spelled Nancy, like Nancy. My last name is On, just On, very simple. You'll be able to find me easily on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram handle is Nancy On, just my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my website is, I know Rory put it up on the advertisement.
Yeah, I put it up on the advertisement. And also, how will we get a hold of you if we want to? And can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you say it in Spanish?
In Spanish?
In both. Spanish?
Okay.
In both. We would love for you to do that. And stuff. And how to reach you, get a hold of you and stuff like that, because we have Spanish viewers and people of different, we'd be hitting different sites, and they might want to get a hold of you and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
Can you put the camera on him and he can say that, Marcus?
Well, you can reach me on Facebook, just Luis, Luis Arevalo, Arevalo. Y ustedes también, los que hablan español, me pueden agregar en Facebook, y mi nombre es Luis, Lues Arevalo, Arevelo.
Man, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want this for myself, what I'm about to ask you. I want you to give a little bit of inspiration on staying positive to our fans and how to stay focused and in some kind of way. Since we got a lot of young people, we got older people that don't be focused, and are they retired and they don't know what to do, and they need a little bit of energy, a little boost, because a lot of people retire and they just lay around and they're here and they don't realize you got to keep going. I'm retired from the city, and I'm out there, I try to get my walks in. I try to just keep going and stuff. So my question, can you give them some advice on being inspirational and stuff that they need to hear from really hardworking people?
Yeah, I guess my advice would be, well, this is just how I see it. Like, all I know is I have this one life. You know, I have this one life, and every day we're getting closer to the end of our life. You know, as morbid as that sounds, but I try to make the most of every single day that I possibly can. I think about the end a lot. You know, not in a bad way, but in a way of, you know, when my time comes, I wanna know whether the people at my funeral are gonna say, I'm gonna miss her because she's helped me in some way, or they won't care, you know.
Wow.
So I think about that, and I want to be someone that will leave some sort of impact, you know, even after I'm gone, you know,
Wow.
just by helping as many people as I can in little ways, big ways, doesn't matter, any way that I can. Yeah. So I think about that, and that's what gets me going every single day.
Wow. And that's what I saw when I first met her as a young teenager, yet coming out of her teenage years, and it still inspires me. And to see the woman today, the strength, and it's just amazing to me because a lot of us lose our will and our way because something happened in death or something happened serious to us or we lost. But our parents, I lost both my parents, they didn't want me to stop. They wanted me to still strive. I lose a brother, I lose a sister. They don't want us to stop. They want us to get better.
Yeah.
They love us, and they want us to keep going. They don't want us to just fall by the wayside. We never look to be involved with drugs, alcohol, and stuff that we all are involved in are bad, or so we don't look for that.
Yeah.
But sometimes we run across it because our families or situations we're in, but we keep going. And we can heal from all the bad, even with the crisis the country in today, we can heal from that as people. And I know all sorts of people, all different cultures. You see me, I love all different cultures. I love people. We are nothing but human beings. And for me, I see all the good that we can offer, and you're one of the best. This show has brought one of the best people I've known and one of the greatest hard workers that I've ever seen in my life. And I want y'all to know, get this young lady products, get involved, even just for your health. Just get the products, you will feel so much better in your life. You will stop getting them crazy flu shots and pneumonia shots and all this stuff. These doctors are killing you with side effects. These products will help you feel much better and as you move forward in your life. So we want to thank you for having the great Nancy, who represents USANA, and the great who?
Luis.
And we're sponsored by who?
Curve 31.
This is the Arthur William Smith Show at California Urban, and we are signing off, and thank you for this blessed interview.
Yeah, let's clap that up. Let's clap that up. All right.